One of the most mysterious and long-lasting theories surrounding the Boruto series is the information regarding the two missing Otsutsukis on this mural in the Ten Tails dimension. Many theories have been placed on this topic since we first seen it with the release of chapter 35, yet this still remains to this day the most important plot device in the series. The identity of these two Otsutsuki could change the direction and outlook of the entire series. Now basically, this mural depicts different Otsutsuki that has been introduced in the story, but looking closer into it, they all share some sort of relationship with each other. So look at the middle. That's obviously the symbol for Ishiki and Kaguya. The symbols on the left side of the mural is Momoshiki and Kinshiki, but on the right is completely unrecognizable. They both been destroyed, and by the looks of it, it doesn't seem to have weathered away on its own. Somebody deliberately destroyed these two symbols, but who did it? And who are these missing Otsutsuki? And why was it destroyed? So of course the most obvious relationship they all share is being partners with each other. They're all sectioned off in twos. Each Otsutsuki has a partner. Long story short, you don't want to be on the bottom side of this mural. On the top, we see Otsutsuki like Momoshiki and Ishiki, and on the bottom, it's Kinshiki and Kaguya. Now you might not have noticed, but a lot of you have noticed if you just pay attention. They're ordered this way for an obvious reason. The ones on the bottom are supposed to be used as a sacrifice, with an Otsutsuki pair typically having one member self-sacrifice to the Ten Tails while having the other harvest the chakra fruit is normal practice for the Otsutsuki. Kinshiki was Momoshiki's original sacrifice, and Kaguya was supposed to be Ishiki's sacrifice, until she ultimately betrayed him and escaped that fate. Even more than just being partners, they all share another relationship with each other. Coincidence or not, all four of them have invaded Earth before. Kaguya's situation was a little different because she was kinda resurrected onto Earth. An Otsutsuki isn't supposed to invade a planet by themselves. They normally travel in pairs. So odds are, if you see one, there's most likely another roaming around somewhere, and somewhere really close at that. So of course, when we learned that originally Ishiki came to the planet with Kaguya to cultivate the divine tree, it made sense that more would try to do the same. Think of Earth like the jackpot of chakra fruits. If you eat the chakra fruit of Earth, obviously you have the potential to get the most power. So getting back on track, if Ishiki and Momoshiki never invaded Earth, Kaguya nor Kinshiki would be there. So the most important part of this mystery to find out the true identity of the Otsutsuki, we must, and I mean must, figure out who the one on the top right is. And from that knowledge, the one right below had to have been the sacrifice. That's what makes the most sense. It's just so obvious Ikimoto didn't want us to know about this yet. The way he had Sasuke shrug it off like it was nothing, even redirecting his attention as soon as he mentioned it. This wasn't something we were supposed to know about yet. Now we're like 65 chapters past that, and it's still not directly specified who they were. But we're getting closer and closer to that moment with every passing chapter. So right here, I just want to come out and say, based on all the evidence I just deduced from a single chapter alone, I think we could put all the Boruto and KAWAKI theories to rest. I just don't think they can be the two missing Otsutsukis. It's impossible to even come up with a semi-believable argument without bringing up some nasty speculation. I heard Boruto and KAWAKI are from the future. I heard the destroyed part of the mural was for them to fill. I heard a lot of conversation surrounding that theory, and every time, it makes even less sense. Boruto and KAWAKI are not born Otsutsuki. It makes even less sense for KAWAKI because at least Boruto was somehow strongly connected to the Otsutsuki since birth. KAWAKI was just an ordinary kid. The only argument you can have to somehow justify this theory is if you believe someone else added them to the mural because of a foresight ability. But even the chances of that happening is pretty goddamn low. And it's mainly because of what I just mentioned about how they're organized with the sacrifice always being on the bottom. So I just don't believe that theory. Everyone is of course welcome to believe anything they want to believe regarding that, because nobody is right as of right now. Me nor you. But just paying attention to certain narratives and plot devices that came up in the story, this theory is the least likely out of all the ones I heard before. But speaking of plot devices, let's talk about the most obvious answer to this question. Shibai Otsutsuki. Shibai is the only person who fits this role as the missing Otsutsuki. Besides all the rest of the Otsutsuki we already been revealed to, Shibai was the only other one to have been invaded Earth long ago. We can tell because of AMADO saying that the only thing left of Shibai is his remains, and the fact that he was able to get his remains is pretty telling too. Shibai currently is more or less being used as a plot device for the newest power in the Borutoverse called SHINJUTSU, or Divine Techniques, whatever you want to call it. But after Shibai supposedly ascended to the 4th dimensional plane, where a physical body isn't required and left his remains behind, AMADO was able to get his hands on Shibai's remains and make cyborgs that have the potential to wield one of his many Shinjutsu. Once we learn more about Shibai, I believe the origins about the Otsutsuki and who really was the two missing Otsutsukis will come to the light. But listen, if one of the Otsutsuki is supposedly Shibai, then who was the other, and what exactly happened to him or her? To answer that question, we have to know what truly happened to Shibai after all these years. Even after 7,000 or so, he could still indeed be alive. That's the whole point of karmic resurrection. He was able to cheat death because of it, just having an absurd amount of vessels. There's no proof that Shibai isn't among the living, except the simple fact that AMADO told us he's not. We don't know if everything he's telling us is true or not. In fact, we don't know much about AMADO himself. All we know is that he's desperately trying to revive his daughter with everything he's got. And that's why he still remains to this day the most mysterious man in the history of the Naruto franchise. The way he's able to implant Shibai cells into cyborgs to replicate these divine techniques, or how about restore Kawaki's karma into a completely artificial karma that houses all of Ishiki's power. If we take all that into account, the theory that AMADO could very well be the missing Otsutsuki is possible as well. This theory isn't all that convincing, at least right now in the story, but I can't lie, it's more believable than the Boruto and Kawaki one, for sure. The only reason I'll even entertain it is because of the mystery surrounding AMADO's character. And not only that, I understand why he would want to resurrect his daughter and everything, like that's his daughter, completely understandable. But thinking again, AKEBI could be the other Otsutsuki that came to Earth alongside Shibai. Like, think about it like this. Let's say they both came to Earth, and for some reason they both kept resurrecting through different vessels. Maybe there's a crazy love story behind it, like they fell in love or something. Maybe Shibai being in AMADO's body actually needs AKEBI for something. We don't know. We gotta look at all those possibilities though. I'd say the likelihood of this theory isn't too high, maybe 35%. The other 65% suggests it's an honest father trying to bring his daughter back to life through divine intervention. Okay, so far, AMADO and AKEBI being the missing links is probably the most logical theory. It would be kind of funny if Kawaki was actually right about AKEBI being some crazy Otsutsuki if he revives her. I mean, the entire reason he's holding off on resurrecting her is because of the possibility of that happening. Then you have AMADO saying even if she gets revived as an Otsutsuki, he'll fight him with all he's got. Of course, he probably means that metaphorically, but it's still funny to think about. Now that I think about it, nothing makes more sense than it just being Shibai. He most likely already fed his partner to the divine tree of a planet not named Earth. He then came to Earth to look for another way to gain even more evolution, but obviously since the Earth is still intact, he didn't cultivate a divine tree here. It could turn out that Shibai wasn't even evil. Remember, not every Otsutsuki is an evil, twisted planet eater. Like, I have theories on the situation for days. The mural could have been destroyed because that Otsutsuki had a bad relationship among the other Otsutsuki. Like, remember, not every Otsutsuki is loved among their clan. They literally hated Tonari because he wanted to protect Earth instead of destroy it. So don't rule out the possibility of it being a scenario where they could be ex-members of the clan. I was actually gonna make a theory on one of the missing Otsutsuki being Tonari, but thinking forward on that, there would be too many unanswered questions regarding that possibility. The odds of it actually being another unseen, unheard Otsutsuki pair is really low. I don't think at this point Ikimoto would just reveal new Otsutsuki. I don't know. I think that's just counterproductive, especially since we have great antagonists like the Shinju. So I think there's someone we already heard of in the series. I mean, do the Shinju have something to do with this problem? I highly doubt it. judging how they never lived before or had a conscience since Code literally created them with his karma. Like, you would actually be surprised as of what kind of theories I hear on the daily regarding this topic. And every single time, I shut them down immediately because of an insane plot hole that I just can't get past. So overall, through the many theories we went over today, it's not Boruto and KAWAKI, probably not AMADO and AKEBI, and it's probably not Jura, as funny as that sounds. Now, whether I believe Jura has the potential to evolve into an Otsutsuki is a completely different story, because that's extremely possible, just strictly because of the white karma. But that's another video where I go over the Shinju's peak evolution state. That video should be coming really soon. I have a bunch of videos in the vault, but some I need a little bit more information to talk about properly, so I just wait until more chapters release to gain more details on the topic. But yeah, I'm definitely with like 67% of the community on this one. I think the missing Otsutsuki is Shibai, not some new unrevealed Otsutsuki that we never seen before. The partner either got ate by the Tentails or is in a vessel. The reason their mural is all destroyed must be because of a feud, a big disagreement. It has to do with how they view Shibai. Maybe he's a rare case of an Otsutsuki that wanted peace instead of destruction. Maybe he went against their traditions and beliefs as they casted him aside like Kage and Tonari. The more we learn about the Otsutsuki and their past, the more we learn about this mysterious mural. The clan's history is deeper than you think. Everyone just doesn't get along. There was turmoil in that clan, and that could have had an effect on how the clan views its members. Let me know your theories down below on the topic. Which one I mentioned do you think holds the most weight? Or do you have your own theory or ideas that I didn't mention anywhere in this video? Leave all that information in the comment section, and I'll try my very hardest to respond to as many of my folk as possible. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and of course, if you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss another upload or when I go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.